All right. Think Bigger podcast. Mondays. It's Monday. Here we are. Another beginning of the week, right? Monday. Nobody likes Mondays. I need my coffee. Oh, tomorrow is Monday morning. It's Monday morning. Let's begin the week. Right? Wrong, guys. Why do you really hate Mondays? Why is there this massive feeling across, the spectrum? You have an entire social media GIF and meme creation series of GIFs and memes about Mondays, right? You've got people saying, oh, you got a bad case of the Mondays. For people that know where that reference came from, the idea of people disliking Monday came, the pop culture reference came from the movie Office Space, for those of you that know. And for those of you that don't, it's a classic movie. It's older. Maybe a lot of the younger people have never even heard of that. Take a time to watch it, and see that even that many years ago, for a lot of the older people, what do you mean that many years ago? But you have to put it into perspective, right? You have a younger generation. That many years ago, a lot of you guys in here were kids. And so that movie might just, never have been a thing for you. But my point in bringing that up is looks like somebody has a case of the Mondays, literal saying, and just that mentality has been around a long time. It's not new. If you're feeling that right now and you're a teenager, trust me, 5, 10, 20, 30 years ago, that has been a thing, okay? But why do people hate Mondays? Monday is just another day of the week, okay? I mean, look, people are so accustomed to thinking of life in the context of work as the measure of time that you have. I hate Mondays, and then you have Hump Day, right? It's Wednesday. We're halfway through the week, and we're gonna just have to make it through 2 more days. The whole thing is connected because what it is an indication of your measurement of time, okay? Monday's the start of the week. Wednesday's the hump day. You got to get over the hump, push, fight through it. And then you're at Friday. Boom, it's the weekend, right? I'm off work soon, and it's time to do whatever it is. Turn up, get lit, whatever you guys do, on a weekend. It is an indication of the measurement of time. And that, my friends, is the most fundamentally terrible and incorrect way that people measure time. Work with me here. Think about this perspective. This is about perspective. The Think Bigger podcast is not here to tell people what to think. It's to teach you how to think. It's to talk about ways to change the way that you see things and give you perspective. And it occurred to me a long time ago that when people reference the first day of the week as Monday, they've already got it wrong. Because Sunday's the first day of the week. Saturday is the last day of the week. But people think about life in terms of work, and therefore Monday is viewed as the first day of the week. And it's like Friday's the last day of the week, and Saturday and Sunday are the enjoyable times. Those 2 days are sort of like, they're not even really part of the week. It's the weekend, right? And you get to do what you want. Now, this starts to evolve, of course, if you're married, you have children, because then really it isn't, Sunday is more like half, because you can't really do something or quote unquote go out on Sunday night, at least, because it's already Monday morning. Tomorrow's the beginning of the work week, of the week. You can't turn up, you can't go out, you can't drink, you can't do whatever it is that you view as an outlet, as fun, as enjoyable. So you have what? Friday night, Saturday night. Now, if you have kids, that whole thing changes. Well, for most people. I mean, maybe that's a whole different podcast episode, but we all know some parents that pretty much act like they are not parents and they be wilding out, even with kids. But that's a whole different conversation. My point is, you guys, it's a joke, it's fun, but it's not fun, and it's also not cool, and everyone hates Mondays and Hump Day Wednesdays and all this type of thing. But what I really want to do is break down why you really hate Mondays. And you hate it because it is a representation of something, as well as being a literal re-beginning, a recurring, a recycling of a cycle, a recycle of your work week, which has become your measurement of time. And what that then becomes is the way you measure your life. So, you know the saying, we were not meant to pay bills and die? There's other versions of that. We were not meant to wake up, go to work, pay bills and die. Whatever version of that, think about that. Oh, that's not me. Come on now, man. That's dramatic. That's a dramatic saying. I'm not just paying bills and dying. I'm living. Okay, but if you are measuring your time is the ultimate measurement, right? What you do with your time. How do you spend your time, right? We have all these other types of profound philosophical sayings and ways of thinking based on that, but it's directly connected to this, okay? If you are measuring your weeks and your days and your fun on your work, that is how you are measuring your time. Not just figuratively, but literally. Days are time. Weeks are time. And days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into months, and months turn into years. And after 1 week, 1 day, 1 month, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, some people have this epiphany. They have a revelation. They wake up because maybe a family member passes away. Maybe a friend. A public figure that they looked up to. Has this happened to any of you guys? I'm sure that it has, unfortunately. The passing of somebody that we know or admired or both becomes this moment where life grabs you, if you allow it to. Life grabs you by the shoulders and it shakes you up. And maybe forces you to reevaluate how you live your life and how you spend your time, how you measure your time. But Monday, and I have a case of the Mondays, and don't talk to me, I need coffee on Mondays. And it's Hump Day, you guys. We're almost there, Hump Day. That whole commercial series, and everyone loved it with the camel walking around. Hump Day, it's Hump Day. Come in. I mean, it was funny. But when you really break it down, it's because people are struggling to get through just the middle of the week. Just 2 days later, Monday, Tuesday, 2 days later, Wednesday, Hump Day. You get over Hump Day, and you got to make it 2 more days, and then your week ends. And that entire measurement of life and days and time is wrong. It's fundamentally wrong, and it's wasteful. So, that's why you really hate Mondays. You hate it because work is something you don't enjoy. It's both a symbol of responsibility and financial burden, right? Talk about that, financial burden. You go to work to pay bills. You go to work to cover your responsibilities. But when did you think it did not become We were not meant to just go to work, pay bills, and die. When did you think that your particular situation was excluded from that? Have you allowed yourself to embrace the reality that if you are measuring time that way, you are measuring life that way? And that, my friends, is, in my very, very sincere and humble opinion, profoundly wrong and dangerous. And there's no time like the present to decide to do something about that. Okay? Now, we live in a day and age where people are so focused on doing something that they love, right? That's the dream, right? That's the American dream. That's this newer perspective, this philosophical, idealistic, romantic way of looking at life. And you know what? We live in an era where that's very possible. But I want you to try to look at it in that it isn't so much what you do, right? I want to love what I do. If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. That saying is a promise, and it holds some people captive without them realizing it. Okay? If you love what you do, you will never work a day in your life. Loving what you do is a mindset. Loving what you do is a perspective. It is a choice. It is in the way that you think. So your ability to not work a day in your life has been there this entire time. Right there in your head. And it's the way that you think. You need to change the way that you think to make that a reality. Like happiness cannot be found. You cannot find it in another job. Yes, even if that job pays you more money. You cannot find it in a partner. If you're single right now and you're dating or you're looking, you're not going to find happiness in a person or in a job or in a salary or in an income or in a car build or in a physique. Right? If you're looking to get fit, if you're looking to build a car, if you're looking to buy a Supreme outfit, you're not going to find happiness in an object or in a number like money, because those never end. There will always be a new release of a Supreme something or another. Whether you're buying fanny packs, hats, t-shirts, bricks, keychains, socks, skate decks, right? Just work with me here. I mean, substitute Supreme for another brand. It's all the same. Okay, just think about it. Shoes, sneakerheads, same thing. New release, retro this, collabo that, custom this. It's never ending. Okay? All right, so let's go a little bit more practical. For those of you saying, well, money is helpful. We need money. And if I made more money, I would be happier. No. If you made more money, you would be able to pay more bills and buy more things. So let's touch on that real quick. Money is nothing more than a means. It is a means to do something. It is a means to buy something. And that's all it will ever be. In this system that we are in, yes, you need money to pay bills, to buy yourself, your children, your loved ones, clothes, food, shelter. Yes, you do, right? You do need money. You can opt out of the system and go live off the grid. I mean, that's a very real thing too. But that's not for everyone. People say they would do that, but you have to really think about it and do the math and the numbers and get a feel for what life would be like. Most people are so used to a certain way of living that you can say that all you want, but you're not actually able to do it because you wouldn't be able to survive. But my point is money is nothing more than a means, right? You need to eat something. You need to have hot running water. You need to have electricity and have a refrigerator with food in it so you can have a way to feed your family, all right? And whether you're into fashion and pop culture and being, hip and new and crispy and all kind of whatever adjectives you want, let's say you're just wearing good old regular clothes, you still need money to buy the clothes. But money is nothing more than the means to do those things. Money has no value in and of itself. Without getting all deep into economics and macroeconomics, global econ and all that kind of stuff, you have, seven? A handful of world banks that meet and they come up with the value of your money. Wherever you are in the world listening to this, if you're in the UK, the euro, you have the British pound, you have the US dollar, the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, and then you jump all the way to like rupees and dinaris and all these other forms of money. And you got ones that are about 1.1 to 1, 1.4 to 1. And then you jump to 10,000 to 1. You have 40,000 to 1. Because of all of these crazy factors that 99.5% of the population do not and will not ever fully comprehend at all. You have this global economic system, world banks and inflations and all kinds of things that go into why you're getting off a plane in a different country and you look up and there's an exchange rate and it goes by the 10th, the 100th, maybe even the 1,000th place, and it's changing. You blink your eyes and it's changing. The value of that piece of paper that you're holding is changing based on things that you have nothing to do with, that you cannot control. So if you think of money as having value, you are in an horrifically dangerous place. Because if there is some type of economic catastrophe, if there is some type of political nonsense that occurs, depending on where you are, your money goes up and it goes down. And if it becomes worth nothing, your focus on having the money, which has no real value, it's just a means to do something or buy something that does have value, you will have the biggest shock of your life. I mean, majority of people are probably going to think of it in American dollar terms because that's what you're used to. That seems to be one of the most stable, currencies in the world. So fine, for the Americans listening, let's go with that, right? If you have $1,000 and one day you wake up and that $1,000 that's in your savings account or in your PayPal account or your Venmo or whatever, right? It's digital, whether you're looking at Bank of America, Chase Manhattan, your local credit union. When you sign into something and look at your checking or your savings account and you see a number, it's just digital. It's just a number on a screen. So if you logged into Bank of America or you logged into Chase or you logged into PayPal, what's the difference? And yes, there are technical differences, but follow me here. Somebody's going to be like, come on, man, it's not the same thing. But in the grand scheme of life, it is the same thing. Because if that company or that website crashes, if that company goes under for factors or reasons that you have no control over, that money is not of any value. You cannot get to it. You cannot do anything with it. Okay? Do you guys see where I'm going with this? So when you go to work, you need to go to work to make not money, but you are going to work to make a means to do something. So you have your standard, 8 to 5, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And people work a whole year. There's 5 or 6 major federal holidays that people get off, right? You have New Year's Day, Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day, Labor Day, President's Day, right? Some companies do 1 or 2 more. And there you are. And then you have a 2-week vacation. That's the standard kind of package, right? 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 5, 6 major federal holidays off. You have maybe 5 to 7 sick leave, sick absence days or whatever they call them. And then you have a 2-week vacation that you have to submit 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months in advance to get those dates off. That's how the high majority of working people have their situation set up. You have the part-time people. Maybe a lot of you guys listening don't even have a full-time job that doesn't even have any of those. You're just getting shifts. Sometimes they give you opening. You got to open the store. You got to open the restaurant, the fast food chain. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe the next morning you have to open again. Or maybe you close one night. So you end up leaving 7, 8, 10 p.m. and you got to be there back in the morning. That's the way your shifts got laid out for you. It's easy to say, oh, you can't, man, come on, you can't hate that. Don't worry about that. I know it's not fun, you guys. But wherever you are younger and you got a side job? Are you at Auntie An's Pretzels or Wetzels at the mall? You know what I'm saying? And other than the fact that it smells absolutely delightful and amazing, and every time I walk by, I have to fight off, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, yo, walk faster, Big Mike, don't you do it, right? Whether you work there and you love eating Cinnabits, you know what I'm saying? Or you work at I don't know, man, are you a janitor? Do you have to clean? Sometimes really gross things at a warehouse, at a mall, at a building. Are you a plumber? Are you construction? Are you laying floor or are you painting? Are you a mechanic? Are you working with your hands? Doing physical labor, construction? Or maybe you went to school, you got a degree, and you work in, I don't know, business, healthcare, whatever, right? You have people who are working, making minimum wage, who are going to have a better attitude and a smile on their face than the person who's making 10 times more than them. And you see people who are wealthy, according to, your lower to middle class. You look up at these people and they work and they have, look at what they're wearing, look what they're driving, and they're not happy. Because none of that has anything to do with happiness. That's all in your head, right? Monday and hump day and Friday, and now I get to turn up on the weekend. That's all in your head. And it should never be the way that you measure your time, which is the way that you measure your life. Your work is not a measurement of your life. Your experiences, your emotions, your loved ones. That's how you measure. That's how you should measure your life, right? Your smiles and your laughs, your growth as a person, moments in time where you have a revelation, watching the sunset, whether you're in your own backyard in an apartment complex, in your home, you have a patio, you have a gazebo, or a chain link fence blocking the sunset. You live in the projects, you live in the hood, you live in a condominium at the top floor. The chain link fence isn't blocking the sun setting in your eyes. Or if you're at the top and you have no obstruction, you can be looking out, watching the sunset, wondering how you're going to pay for whatever bills you have going on. You guys, you can travel all you want. People see me and they have this idea that because I travel all the time, that my life is amazing. And in some ways, you're absolutely right. That type of evolution of my particular work has been a blessing that I do not ever allow to get old, ever. Okay? Yes, I am blessed, but I always tell you guys, it doesn't matter if you're across the globe or across the street. Who you are with and what you are doing is as important and as profound as you let it be. You can take a vacation to a tropical island and be on a beach in Hawaii, but if you don't have your head right, if you don't disconnect and unplug from your phone and social media and get your mind in a place to dedicate your thoughts and emotions to the person that you're with, to absorbing the energy of where you are, right? Then it's useless. You can be sitting on the front porch or on the steps of your apartment complex, projects, middle class home, and you can sit back and just breathe in life and call your kids over, jump up and go play with them, or go inside and sit on the couch and curl up with your significant other. And that, my friends, right then and there, that's a vacation. That's a separation from stress and life, and it's in your mind. Even if there isn't a child that you love and can go play with, or a significant other, it's all in your mind, okay? So life cannot be measured by your work week. Life cannot be measured by Mondays to Fridays and hump days in between. People hate Mondays because they don't like their job and they don't like the responsibility of getting up and the rigid structure and organization that is forced upon you by this system. People hate Mondays because they don't like that. But you know what? You can change that, and it's all in your head. That's where it always starts. Your mindset matters. Okay? That's why underneath the Think Bigger project logo, it doesn't say established in a year. There's all these companies and brands. It says EST period and a year. That's why for TBP, for the Think Bigger project, it says established daily. Every day, you reestablish your mindset. Your mindset matters. That passion, that drive, that focus to do what you need to do, to be who you need to be, to live and enjoy life is established and reestablished daily. And yes, there is going to be a point where you can hop out of bed and you're on it. You're not even worried about the commute. You're not even tripping about having to sit in, a certain amount of time on the freeway. You know what I'm saying? You're not worried about the fact that you don't really like your manager, and your manager or your boss, they don't really like you. You're not going to worry about that because you got your head right. You got your mind right. Your mindset is situated. But until you're there, every day, like anything you practice, you will get good at. And the way that you think is no different. Do not allow Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays to be the measurement of your life and your time. Time is the most valuable thing. We're talking about money and currency and value. Time is the most valuable asset that you have. And whether you are going to use that to build a business and be that entrepreneur that you aspire to be because of what you see on social media and YouTube and pop-up ads, if you buy into that, if that's what you want to do, whether it be investing, real estate, passive income, right, stocks and bonds, or Amazon, or resale, or opening up a shop, or whatever it is, if that's what you choose to use your time for, then use it. It's powerful, and it's valuable to you, and you make the value of it by what you do with it, okay? Or it's just seeing your kids grow. No kid, right, has ever really said like, oh man, I just wish my parents were gone more when I was growing up. Kids don't say that. Kids don't say, yeah, man, you know what? My daddy, he took off a lot of work to spend time with me, and I just, I wish that he worked more. I wish that I had, a fourth pair of shoes when I was growing up instead of just 3. That's not what happens, right? People look back and they say, I wish I spent more time with my kids. Kids look back and say, I wish that my parents were there more. My mother was a single mother, and she had to work all the time. Or my father was the one who worked, and he was always gone, and I barely saw him. And when he came home, he was cranky, he was tired, he drank. These are by the millions. You have stories like this. No exaggeration. Nobody says, I wish that I spent less time with my parents. time. Who do you spend it with? Why do you spend it with them? That's the value. The value is what you give it. Your time is not measured by Monday and Wednesday and Friday and the weekend. How do you spend your time? How do you measure your time? It cannot be by your work. Whatever your work is, whether it's a stepping stone job, you're working part-time to help pay for school. Are you doing the school route? Are you getting a degree? Are you doing it in a classroom setting? Are you taking online courses, night classes? There's a lot of options, you guys. I know women that have had 1, 2, more than 2 children, single mothers, and they did online courses. They went to night classes maybe if they had a respectable and trustworthy sitter, right? Or they did it online. Nowadays you can get master's degrees online. You can start with your associates and your bachelor's and your master's. If you believe that's the route you need to go to better your life, right? Your time can be spent that way. But if that means you have to give up something, give up how much time you're on social media. If you have Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat, you need to reevaluate your life, because unless those things are making you money and giving you the means to do more beneficial and profound things, then what are you doing with them? You don't need that. And we live in this day and age where, people are so busy. It's this crazy cycle because you have to go to work, and you're at work so much. You don't get to go out. You don't get to spend time with people. So how do people spend time with each other now? They do it by liking each other's photos and commenting on each other's posts and sending each other texts and gifts and memes and group chats. That's what people's social structure is kind of based on now. And that is not okay. It is not okay for you to have to work and work and work and feel like the only time you get to go out is on the weekend, as they call it, and you remain social digitally. That's not a real relationship. The person that you've been exchanging gifts and memes with for the last, months, that's not based on any depth. There's no profundity to that relationship. So be careful how much time and energy you spend on social media exchanging information and laughs with screen names of people. Yes, of course, I know a lot of you are like, I know these people in real life. That's fine, right? But what I'm saying is put it into perspective. Your mind, your thoughts, your energy, your time is being spent. And when you are exhausted, you think about life in an entirely different way. When you are exhausted, you look forward to the end of your work week or your work day when you can just get home and do nothing or turn up, drink, smoke, go out, whatever you aspire to do, whatever you think is fun, all you want to do is get out of work and go do it. And that, my friends, is in your mind. I'm serious. In my humble opinion, it's always just been in our minds. And it's up to us to unlock that. Your life is not Monday, Wednesday, Friday, weekend. Do it again. Recurring, recycling, starting over. Another Monday. It's just another case of the Mondays. It looks like somebody has a case of the Mondays. Oh, hump day? We're halfway through the work week. Let's go. Oh, it's Friday, y'all. Right? No. no, no. And it doesn't even matter if the job that you have is a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and you have to commute. So you're in traffic on the way to work and you're in traffic on the way back. It's not about that. Where is your mind? Your perspective is what matters. There are people who have learned languages, audiobooks, podcasts like this that stimulate thought and growth. Those are ways to spend time on your commute to work and back, right? Put on some wireless, earphones, some, whatever. So hands-free, make some calls. Use time when you're stuck in traffic, which is one of the most useless ways to spend life. And I get it, a lot of us are stuck in that. But turn that time into something valuable. Call family members, right? Call loved ones, call friends. Don't text them. Don't snap them. Don't be in the group text. Don't go searching for the most fire memes. Stop it. Call each other. Talk to each other. Be safe. I'm serious. Hands free. Be safe. Focus on the road. There's no need for accidents. But there are ways to maximize the time that you have, even in the midst of a rut and a routine that you might be in right now that you hate. You can begin that change, and it's all in your mind. The Think Bigger podcast episodes are on subjects that every single one of us live and feel and breathe. And you guys, I know it's resonating on a very deep level because, we all are having the human experience. And as many variations of that as there is, it's still the human experience. And people are stuck between time and stress and money and bills and dreams and hopes. And people are thinking that it's dying. I'm never going to be that whatever. I'm not going to be able to do that. They left me. Now I have the kids. I don't make enough. When I do the math, when I do the literal math, I don't make enough. There are circumstances that make it hard. I understand that on a very real level, my friends. But once again, your mindset matters. And your mindset needs to be established daily. Things like this podcast and others are amazing ways to stimulate that. It's all about changing the way that you think, giving you perspective, and you take your experience, you take others, what you've read, what you've observed, and what you're listening to like right now, and let it sink in. As a thinking, self-aware human being, you can turn that around and decide what you want to do with this type of information. But you can't do that if your mind and your eyes and your ears are swarming with images and sounds of pop culture and memes and the explore page on IG and stupid tweets and Snapchat filters and face swaps. Think about what I'm saying, you guys. I'm serious. We are constantly bombarding ourselves with distractions. When you really think about it, those are not valuable ways to use your time, or at least not as much of your time that you're using it for. Does this make sense? Right? Once again, I always tell you guys, there is a post on my personal IG page that has the color coordinated thumbnail. It'll say episode and the number. And I post it on my IG page. And that right there is a forum, is a place for commentary. So the comments, we have a conversation there. If you listen to this on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Google Play, on Stitcher, on SoundCloud or whatever, you can't really comment there. So that's why I post it on the IG, on my personal IG. So during any of this, if you want to push pause and you want to comment, You disagree? Tell me. You agree? Tell me. But you guys, this is not meant as a one-way conversation. No conversation is one way. Your input, your feelings, your agreements, your disagreements, your reflections, your philosophies, all of that is crucial. And by putting it in a public place like the comment section on the post on IG, it provides the conversation to be tangible and continuing there, and others who might be hesitant will read your comment, read my response, and just go, and it'll help break the ice. I get a lot of DMs from these types of, every time a podcast episode comes out, or a YouTube vlog drops, or an IGTV vlog drops, people comment. But way more people DM. And I'm actually not 100% sure if it's because DMing is sort of like this default way that people sort of go about it. Because I don't think every one of you is trying to be private. There are definitely super deep direct messages and comments that I get where I can very much understand that was not something that person wanted to discuss publicly. But that's a little bit more rare than the rest. The rest, I think people just sort of DM just because. But I want you guys, and I encourage you guys, if you're on YouTube, you can use the comments there. If you're listening on YouTube, but for everyone else, please go to my Instagram. If you happen to know this podcast but don't know my personal Instagram, which is starting to happen more and more, by the way, which is amazing because that means that people are sharing this podcast on podcast platforms. And so people are hearing this and the reality of it, and it's resonating with people, but they don't necessarily know me. Whereas a lot of people who started on the podcast started because you guys have been supporters and followers of me. And I love the fact that it's not even about me. I love the fact that it's growing to a point where it isn't about me, it's about what we're talking about. And that's what I care about. I don't care about getting credit. I don't care about being recognized in that regard. I care about stimulating thought and growth in each human being who listens, because we're all experiencing life together, time and life, and as part of the human community, right? As part of the community and the culture. We're all experiencing it. We're all a part of it. So please go to my IG. It's at the Big Mike, TheBigMike. I'm the host, Big Mike. The Instagram is the Big Mike. Find the comments. Find the post. This one is called Why Do You Really Hate Mondays? And you know that whole saying of the Monday blues, a case of the Mondays? The thumbnail for this is 3 shades of blue, from light, medium to dark blue. That's how I do things, guys. I'm into the artsy side and then the conscious and subconscious symbolization. So this particular Think Bigger podcast thumbnail is light, medium, and then dark shades of blue, the Monday blues. Okay? So, you guys, do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you understand what I'm saying? You hate Mondays, the first day of the week. And it's, interestingly enough, not even the first day of the week. Sunday's the first day, Saturday's the last day, and people have so far gone off that track because they measure their life on the work week. Monday's the first week, Friday's the end of the work week, and it's the weekend. And it's time to turn up and enjoy life. No, my friends, you go to work to make money. But what money is a means, whether that is a means to save up and travel, whether that is a means to buy something for your loved one, whether that is a means to do something important. The work that you do and the money that you make in and of itself is not supposed to be the focal point. You've got to change the way you think. Your mindset matters, and it needs to be established daily. You are in a system, and we can work with that. We are in a life system, and there are economic factors and monetary factors. I get it. But that's not the focal point, my friends. Okay? Life is what you make it, and that's all in your mind. You won't find happiness in a place, in a job, in a person, in an object. You will not, you cannot. You can find it in your head, because it is a perspective, it is a way of thinking, it is a mindset. I very deeply believe that. This is not some philosophical ranting. I'm serious. That's why you will meet a person working a job that smiles at you, and you can feel the sincerity. Their attitude is based on their perspective. Their perspective is based on their mindset, and their mindset is the way that they think and the way that they have chosen to look at their circumstances. And we have the ability to do that, whether you make a lot of money or not a lot of money, whether you have responsibilities like children or not. All of those things are not the crux, the focal point. Your perspective, your mindset is what matters, and you cannot allow the way of measuring your life and your time to be your work week. You are not made to go to work, pay bills, and then die. And if you measure your life on your work week, you are well on your way to making that saying be far more real than it ever needs to be. Okay? Not robots. We're not drones. We're not just stuck doing the same routine. Okay? Change it in your mind. It starts within you. Okay? Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, your work week, that's not what life is about. Money is just a means. Okay? We can get into the money more later. It's understandable why so many people think about that. But I have bills, man. I have to go to work. I mean, you're just saying that. You don't have the same wrong. I'm human. I have bills. I get it. But I work daily, and I fight the system, and I change the way that I look at it daily. Not even daily. Hour by hour, moment by moment. It is a growth process, and it can only begin when you choose for it to begin. Okay? It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It takes time. One moment by moment, one thought by thought. Okay, my friends? So, once again, I encourage you to interact. A lot of you guys tell me that you have this playing while you're wrenching in the garage, while you're cleaning the house, while you're commuting. So if you are in a safe place to do so, if you're not driving, for example, I'm telling you right now, pause right now and go to the IG, comment. Let's continue this conversation there, okay? If you're listening on YouTube, comment there. Share this with your fellow YouTubers, and let's get others in on the conversation. The Think Bigger Project, Think Bigger podcast, it's there not to teach you what to think. It's to teach you how to think, to give ourselves the tools and the inspiration to better our lives and our existence in a very, very real way, regardless of whether you are a teenager or in your 60s. The range of people who listen to this podcast is a very real quantification of the life experience. I have 12 and 13 and 14-year-olds message me about the Think Bigger Project and the podcast, and I have 40, 50-year-olds, grandparents, parents, business owners, People who are lost, no degree, no job, they don't know what they're doing. People who are world-renowned automotive builders, actors, businessmen. People who on the outside, everyone thinks they got it. Everyone thinks that that's what I'm trying to be. And they're struggling in the same exact way that we all are. It is the human experience. Do not allow pomp and circumstance and clothing and shoes and cars and jewelry and all the glitz and the glamour. If someone has 1 million followers on Instagram or 100,000 or their YouTube channels popping, a lot of those people, without even getting into how many of them are lying to first themselves and then to all of you, forget that part of it. These are people who are struggling in ways that are so ridiculously similar to you that you just wouldn't even be able to imagine. Because what you think when you see them, or what they're portraying to you in this world of social media, is you think that they're the ones. You are aspiring to be them, and that is not reality either. You got to be the best you. You've got to be the best you. So it starts within. It starts with the way you think. Your mindset matters, and it needs to be established daily. Okay? All right, my friends. I look forward to hearing from you. thinkbiggerproject.com. That's thinkbiggerproject.com. It's basically a nonprofit organization for the community, for the culture. 100% of the proceeds go back into the project to keep it funded, to keep it alive, and to keep it growing. Think Bigger podcast. Share it. I have engineers from Boeing who started listening, actors who started listening. I'm serious. It is amazing. It is amazing, you guys. And my point is it doesn't matter what someone looks like, what their age is. You just don't know that there are so many of us that are experiencing and struggling with life in the same ways. So forget this idea that your work week is the measurement of your life and of your time, because it is not. You get it? Do you agree? Did it hit you somewhere? Good. Talk to me about it. IG at the Big Mike. If you think that this subject matter needs to be heard by another person or people that you know, share it. Let's grow together. Okay? I appreciate all of you.